Listen to that sound.
So right now we are escaping from underneath the base of this supercell. Chasing, photographing, and researching tornadoes up close is an incredibly humbling and beautiful experience. But in order to chase properly, there are several different hazards that new chasers need to be aware of. Supercell thunderstorms, the rotating storms that produce tornadoes, are almost always the target for chasers, and these storms can be absolutely devastating. It is important to be aware of the hazards that supercell thunderstorms pose outside of just tornadoes. As I've seen numerous times before, one of the biggest dangers while chasing tornadic supercells is something us chasers like to call the bear's cage. The bear's cage is a rapidly rotating region of heavy precipitation and intense winds underneath the mesocyclone and wall cloud that often wraps around the tornado, sometimes obscuring it from view. This can be incredibly dangerous, as seen in this shot from Seymour, Texas I took earlier this year. There's a massive wedge tornado lurking somewhere in this shot behind the heavy precipitation, but it's impossible to see. Of course, in order to photograph tornadoes, you often need to get close to the bear's cage in order to actually see it. This can be a very risky endeavor, and it's incredibly important to prioritize your own safety over the chase. In late August of this year, I found myself trapped inside the bear's cage of a behemoth supercell in southern Alberta. Thankfully, I recognized that the conditions were just simply too harsh for my vehicle to keep from rolling in the 150-kilometer-an-hour winds. These straight-line winds were so destructive, they were about the equivalent of a low-end tornado. Large hail can cause significant damage to crops and property, and in extreme cases, can even be a threat to human life if you're caught outside in anything larger than golf balls. I've seen some absolutely remarkable hailstorms over the past few years, especially in Texas and Alberta.
Hopefully that's it for the really big stuff. Oh, maybe not.
Another incredibly important skill to learn if you're getting into storm chasing is positioning. With supercell thunderstorms, which typically move east, I always like to stay south of the mesocyclone. The reasoning for this is actually quite simple. You see, when a supercellular storm forms, they have a distinct structure. Typically, in North America, where I chase, the heaviest precipitation will fall north of the main mesocyclonic circulation. This means that spotting a tornado or deciphering storm features visually can be a very difficult task if you're positioned to the north. Supercells have a very clear signature on radar called a hook echo. These hook echoes help us determine where the main circulation is and are essentially always present during tornadoes. In fact, hook echoes very often precede tornado genesis. For these reasons, I always opt to chase from the south whenever possible. It's safer, easier, and it's the best way to get stunning shots of supercell structure. Additionally, it's always important to remember that wherever there's one tornado, there could be more. I had a close encounter with a pair of twins in central Oklahoma in early May of 2024.
There we go. Do we have two funnels? I think we got two.
Oh, it's about to come down right. Shit, this is not good. Riley, keep an eye on that area.
Yeah.
Another major hazard with supercells is massive electrical discharges. These bolts are incredibly powerful, and supercells have no problem frying you to a crisp if you're not careful. Of course, with all that being said, storm chasers will make mistakes. I know I certainly have from time to time, but the important thing is that we learn from them and find better, safer ways to chase.